Hometown. I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado, the home of Molly Brown and Coors Beer, and of course the Denver Broncos. I grew up actually just west of Denver in a suburb called Wheat Ridge. My parents had moved there back in the early 50s from Los Alamos, New Mexico. And they actually were in Los Alamos because they both worked on the Manhattan Project, you might recognize, back in World War II. My mom was a secretary and my dad was a young engineer right out of Michigan State. And I tell you that just because that had probably a lot to do with the fact that I work at a nuclear power plant now. So. Anyway, I grew up in Wheat Ridge. I was the second of 4 kids, ended up with 3 sisters, and I had a pretty normal childhood, pretty happy childhood growing up. In high school, I did have a couple memorable moments. My best one was playing on the high school football team when we won the state football championship for Colorado. My most forgettable moment in high school was when I played on the baseball team. And I'm pretty sure I set the record one day for the most number of errors by a shortstop in one game. And that was pretty much the end of my baseball dreams at that point. But I did survive. After high school, I went on to Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado. Got my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering in 1978. At that point, I knew I was interested in working in the nuclear power business, but there weren't any of those kind of plants in Colorado. So I packed up and I headed to North Carolina to go to graduate school at NC State Nuclear Engineering Department. And at the same time I was going to graduate school, I was able to get a graduate student engineer job with Carolina Power and Light at one of their plants. The first couple of years, I wasn't sure if I was going to stay in the area permanently, but I did like the Raleigh area, and I did enjoy my job. And wouldn't you know it, I met a girl from North Carolina that really made me want to stay out here as long as I possibly could. So I did stay, and I made it through grad school, and I learned how to appreciate beach music and North Carolina barbecue, and I got married. Bonnie and I have now lived in this area for 37 years. We have 2 kids. We have a daughter named Colin and a son, Robert. Colin was married this summer up in Asheville. That's where she lives. She works as a chemist at the state crime lab up there. Robert lives in Raleigh, and he was a political science major, and he's actually making a career out of working on political campaigns, and so far he enjoys it. It's kind of his passion. We're proud of both of them, and we're glad to have them both in the North Carolina area. Back to me professionally, I did hire on with Carolina Power and Light in 1980, worked for 10 years in a corporate group where we worked on radiation monitoring and instrumentation for the different nuclear plants. And then in 1990, I transferred to the Sharon Harris Power Plant as a mechanical systems engineer, which is basically, it's just the true mechanical job. I work with pumps and valves and motors and fans and pipes, and I like it. We do a lot of testing and troubleshooting and just make sure that we're meeting all the regulations that we need to. I've been doing that job really in one form or another ever since. And actually, in 3 more years, if I'm not retired yet, I'll get an email from Duke Energy that says, "What do you want now for your 40th anniversary gift?" So I may make it to that 40-year mark, I may not. As far as Rotary, I did join Cary-Kildaire in 2007 after being asked to an open house by Mike Thompson and attending a few meetings. I liked the weekly meeting format, and I liked the programs, and I just thought it was a great bunch of people. It was also good timing for me at the time because my wife and I, for various reasons, had just left a small church in Cary that we were really involved with, and the Rotary Club gave me an opportunity to still serve in the area, or serve in the community. As far as passions, I enjoy spending time with my family and seeing my kids grow and create their own lives and experiences. I enjoy being a member at First Methodist Church in Cary. I enjoy reading, mainly history, but my wife, who's an avid reader, keeps passing me some non-history books that are really good, and sometimes I have time to read them. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy just about all kinds of music, and thanks to Wade and Paul, I now enjoy quite a bit bike riding. The Rotary is high on the list for me, and I do look forward each week to being here and visiting with everybody and working together to make the world a little bit better place to live in. So thank you.